Welcome to Conversations in Between the Realms, a podcast where the mystical meets the everyday. Join Amanda Nova and Beth Renov each week as we dive into the profound journey of awakening, sharing our experiences, insights, and the lessons that guide us toward our divine purpose. Together, we awaken and guide our souls and others, exploring the magic of living in the 3D while staying connected to the higher realms, embracing the challenges, and celebrating the growth. You've been guided here for a reason. Trust in the journey and let the unfolding begin.
Hello, and welcome back to Conversations in Between the Realms. I'm Amanda Nova, and I am here with my lovely co-host, Beth Renov. How are you today, Beth?
Good. I feel like I've been in like a race today against time.
I feel like it always feels that way.
No, I really was just like back-to-back things. So I just, I'm glad I landed here. I'm glad I'm awake. Because I felt so tired before and I just got this like second wind. So maybe like it was meant to happen.
Yeah, I just got a second one too, but it was because I had a Celsius.
Oh, well, there you
go. But I realized today that all my days that are really good days start with an iced coffee. So I feel like, and like, because usually I have a hot coffee, but now I've been back having an iced coffee, and I'm like, iced coffee is really the way to better my life each day.
Do they end in a Celsius?
Forget me. Yeah. Well, then, it ends in anxiety. It starts with an iced coffee, goes to a Celsius, and then ends in heart palpitations and anxiety and insomnia because it's way too much caffeine.
Oh, God. Do you use the CBD in the iced coffee?
No, I use my CBD and my THC mixed together at night. So I buy this kava powder. So I like make this kava tea and I'll mix the THC and CBD in it before bed. And that like sends me off to where I need to go. And that's like, it's so nice. It's like my favorite ritual.
I've stopped drinking coffee, but I had the CBD in the iced coffee every morning. And it just like really counteracted the anxiety. Yeah. So maybe that's something you can try.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's been really helping me get to sleep. And then I just gave my dad the CBD powder a couple days ago, and he's been putting it in his coffee. And it's so good in a hot coffee too.
It is.
It's just like, it just dissolves really quickly. So yeah, I don't know. CBD, I feel like has been around for a while, but this type of CBD that Beth's brother created is like a powder, and it's really, really good. And he says hi, by the way.
Hi. I feel like we're doing an infomercial for him right now, but
okay, like make sure this is recorded, right? So I can send this my on the clock. Yeah, but I don't know, like, so, it's so interesting because I feel like we're in this time where there's so many ups and downs, and I feel like we're constantly just battling and having to manage the things that are happening. And people keep asking me every time I do any type of energy update, they're like, when is it going to stop? And like, when am I going to feel better? And I'm like, spoiler alert, you're not.
Yeah.
It's what you will feel is learning how to manage those things. And so just to bring that around, it's like, I feel like these tools like CBD are really helpful in managing the day-to-day so that you're not expecting to be somebody that like feels 1,000% every single day when we're still here trying to exist in this like really hard environment that we're in right now.
Yes. And I feel like that is what I've been experiencing. It's like I've had to give up everything right now just for like a little health break of like coffee, CBD, and it's like the most stressful time. And I've really, if anything, I think it's been helping me spiritually like connect again. And I feel like I've been meditating more. I feel like I've been connecting more. Like I've been doing more like the energy protection of connecting with ascended masters, archangels, like doing my whole like spiel in the morning. And like anytime I'm feeling a little bit like or like need a little bit of support, I like do that, and I feel it. Like I feel it like connect in my heart, and I'm like, okay, someone has my back. I don't need to rely on the things I used to, and
Right.
not that I don't want to. It's just like right now it's like, hey, we're going to like test this out a little bit and see how you do. And really it's interesting because maybe I'm like really realizing this now as I'm talking out loud, is like maybe it's just like a trial and error type of thing right now, and seeing like, let's step out of our comfort zone. You are so comfy for a while and it worked for you. It's fine. But like, we're trying to venture into new territory.
Mhm.
Can we try this and see what works? And I think that's what this like time period is really about right now.
Yeah. No, it is. And I feel like, listen, if you want to get new results, you have to try new things. Like I feel like a
Yes.
lot of times we get stuck in the day to day and or we find something that works for us and then
Hmm.
we use it until it doesn't work anymore and then we're
Right.
like, why doesn't this work anymore? Like we're expecting the same results that we had a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, and we're so afraid to try different things. And it reminds me of that book by Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, when he talks about how we create our life and our environment by the habits that we have every single day. And it's like waking up and like looking for that old familiar pain and like, and something
Hmm.
as simple as changing something in your routine or having it removed unhinges people so deeply because they're
Hmm.
so committed to their routine. But that really is when the magic happens. It's like something as
Right.
simple as like brushing your teeth with the opposite hand forces you to use other
Hmm.
pathways in your mind, right? So, like, it's so interesting to me that when people go through these experiences of, for whatever reason, having to try different things, it's like a big shift happens within them because it's like you have to look at things differently.
Totally. And what I've been noticing is I'm noticing in real time of when I'm like, I'm not reacting well right now, or I'm doing something that I don't like to be doing. How can I do this differently? And it's very in the moment. It's not like processing after and I'm like, oh, I didn't like that. It's very much in the moment. And I think it's like creating new neural pathways and a different way to think, so that I'm like, oh, how can I speed up the process of changing this and making this better? It's almost like when I was stuck in those routines, even though they were comfy and they worked, I didn't have to like assess as much and think like, could I be doing this like a little bit differently so that the outcome is better,
Right.
and like the greater
Right.
picture is better. And I'm really noticing that. I'm noticing my clients are going through that as well. So it's a very interesting time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's making me think about like what I should change to get different results. I'm thinking about it now because I feel like I'm in that period of like something has to change and something has to shift. And we were talking a little bit before about how right now the energy is so interesting because it's like feeling like stuff is coming in. A lot of energy is coming in. We just had these two major influxes of energy coming in on the
Hmm.
Schumann resonance. And it's all this stuff coming in at once. And I think people are feeling like they want to work on all the things and they want to do all the things. And I've said this before, but it's kind of like being in an elevator and pressing all the buttons and then expecting it to move. When instead you're just kind of stuck there because you don't know where to go because you pressed all the buttons. I feel like a lot of people are experiencing that right now of like, I want to work on my body. I want to work on my career. I want to work on this project. And ooh, another creative project just came in. Something else just came in. And I want to be a better parent. People are like working on all these things. And I also think it's just okay to like not have to do all of the things at
At once.
once
Yeah.
and just like focus on one thing. I mean, note to self.
Right.
Like I
But
have
like,
to
I
do a
think
million things.
people also have to think about, why do I want all these things at once? What's it going to do for me? What's the like overarching outcome that I want?
Right.
Is it that I want to feel more security? Is it that I want to feel more productive? Like, what is it? Because maybe then you could break it down and you understand that if you work on one, the domino effect is that it will affect the other.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. And I also think it's like when you're running on overdrive and when you are using all of these different things, what are you running away from? What are you numbing? What are you trying to rush through? And I feel
Mhm.
like there are moments, when you have a health issue or when there's something going on that force you to stop and look at everything and look at your systems and look at what's working and what's not working, that's really when you see it. Like, I feel like we just move so fast through life sometimes that we don't even realize that we're in a rut or that we are like running through things. Like, I bet people don't even realize until they like take a step back and look at their life and look at, this is the same stuff I'm doing every single day. Like, people probably don't even know.
Right. And just to like point to like the other thing you were talking about is like people wanting to do everything at once. I'm like, this has come up so much this week too, is like people just want to bypass and steamroll,
Hmm.
and like I have the urge to do it too. Like I think we're just in that time where we're coming out of winter, we're coming out of this like hibernation kind of thing. We're getting more momentum, like even just the switching of the years, like it was a really deep shedding year. It was really exhausting. It was really daunting and like emotionally heavy, and
Hmm.
now we're like in this fire horse and we want to speed ahead.
Hmm.
But maybe like I think what it is that actually moving fast and like wanting to do all these things doesn't get you there faster because you're missing out on all the other things. If you actually just break it down, take it a little bit slower, in the long run, you are actually going to have moved faster, even though it didn't feel that way right now. And that's like the message I keep getting is like, actually, slow and steady is so much faster in the long run. We're not looking at the big
Right.
picture. We're looking at immediate gratification to
Yeah.
feel like we've checked something off a box, but maybe the work isn't a task that you need to check off a box to. It's more of this like ongoing process. So it's like laying a foundation, for example, and it's like it's not going to be that, okay, I went to the supermarket, I did that, errand, you
Right.
know, it's going to be this maybe one step, taking it a little bit slower so that it's really solidified so that you're like slingshotted into the next thing when you're ready.
Right. And I think with that, I mean, I am definitely guilty of that. Like, I feel like I am spent my whole life doing that, like really trying to go from one thing to the next and like doing the checkbox. And I think people that do that don't celebrate their wins and their successes either. Like, I have a girlfriend who's very much like that as well. And she's an entrepreneur. We were just having this conversation about how, like, I think entrepreneurs, especially when you own your own business, because you literally are like always just like have your eyes down, like looking at the next step in front of you. Like, you're always just moving, that like when something happens that is really exciting, like you don't really give it any thought. You're just like, okay,
Right.
great, on to the next thing. Like, because you're always in like
Right.
production mode. I
Right.
have never celebrated anything that I've done. Like, and then I look back sometimes and I'm just like, wow, that was like a big deal. But I didn't say anything or do anything. I just kept going because, it's like on to the next. Did that.
Right. Yeah. And I think to your point earlier of like when you were talking about Joe Dispenza and that routine, that's the routine for people. That's a routine for you. And when you're talking about something you need to change, maybe that's what you need to change is being like, hey, I need to stop a little bit and see like maybe every week I need to be like, what did I like accomplish this week that I'm really proud of? Where was a win? Maybe if you do it at the end of the day, what was a win today? And at the end of the week, was there a bigger win? And really stop and be present in where you're at instead of just always looking ahead. And that's why people aren't satisfied. It's just like there's always something else to do. You're
Hmm.
never really going to be like, wow, this
Right.
feels really good, and not that you're not going to want to move on to the next thing or build and grow. It's just more, will you ever understand growth if you don't stop and actually acknowledge it?
Right. Well, I mean, right now we're in a society that you're only as good as like the next swipe, right? I mean, look at how challenging it is for people who are dating right now when there's like
Yeah.
could potentially be something better when you swipe left and then there's somebody else waiting for you. And I feel like that is just how our society has built our brains to be. Like, nothing feels good enough. It's always on to the next thing. There's always somebody doing it better. There's always somebody doing more. And I think that that's also why so many people find themselves in these comparison traps too.
Hmm.
And the best thing that you can do, I think, is like remove yourself from comparing, looking at people, but it's also just a part of being a human. Like all of us do it. It's also in our face all the time because of social media. Like, I try as much as I can. Like, I don't really go on social media all that much. I feel like people like think because I have a larger page that I like am on there, but I really like go on posts and then I go
Get
read my
off.
smutty books. Like I'm
Right.
really like not on social media all that much anymore because I find it such a challenging place to be and I feel like those feelings naturally come up for everybody, like no
Mm-hmm.
matter who you are. And that's the way that this world is has really like ingrained to us. So of course you're
Yeah.
like my accomplishment's not as good as somebody else's accomplishment. Like, sure, like I wrote a book, but like it's not a best-selling book. Like we kind of like
Right.
downplay our successes because we feel like somebody else is doing it better somewhere.
Right. But the good thing about that is that you can work on that, and that's kind of what I was talking about is like, okay, it's natural that it's going to come up, but can you catch it? And even if not in real time, can you sit and think of like, that didn't feel good. What made me feel like I wanted to compare myself? Was there something triggering it, like that
Yeah.
feeling or thought? Like, am
Yeah.
I being online too much, and seeing other people and that makes me feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. Okay, so maybe I can reduce my time online. Is it that I'm frustrated with where I'm at and I'm talking to friends and they're doing other things or I'm watching TV? I'm like, why can't I have that life,
Right.
And not that the
Right.
answer is to not socialize or watch TV, but it's like, what is it that you really want that they have? And I
Right.
think we're not actually acknowledging what it is because, yeah, we look at compare online, okay? Oh, they have a business that's thriving and they're making money and it just seems like they have what I want, but I don't know how they actually feel. I don't know that it's actually like that, but
Right.
it appears that way. Is all I want to appear online like I have it
Right.
together, or do I
Right.
want to really feel secure and solid and confident in myself and love what I do? Is it that I want to have security and not worrying about money? If you really think about that, then you can actually take steps to get there.
Right.
If you're constantly just looking and being like, that's what I want without thinking,
Right.
but what is it that I want? What about that is appealing to me? How will that
Mhm.
change my life?
Right. I think that's a really, really good point, and I feel like that's a place where a lot of people get mixed up. And I honestly think most people don't know what they
Right.
want. Like they don't know. They think they know. And a lot of
Exactly.
times, yes, it is a highlight reel. And we also do this thing. I read this book. Oh my God. It was like a deeply, deeply like psychological like book, like not a
Hmm.
novel. It was just like, and it was
Yeah.
really, really interesting. And it was about, I think it was called Deep Love. And there was this whole section in it about how we get jealous of other people and compare ourselves. And then we also do this thing where we then, to counter that, start to put the people down. We'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, well, and that like always has stuck with me. And I try so hard like not to do that because it's like such a thing like where we're like, oh, like, yeah, she has a beautiful house, but like her husband's cheating on her. You're like,
Right.
like you do stuff like that where you kind of
Right.
like do it to make yourself feel better, but like somebody else's shit is not going to make you like yours any better. You know what I mean? Like, but we do that to make ourselves feel better. And I think it's so interesting because so much of what we're seeing isn't real. It's all
Right.
highlight reel. So then we're kind of like creating these stories. And I just wish everybody, I mean, social media also just makes it too much. Like we just see too much. We see too much of people's lives. Like, where are the days where people could just like have their own yard and the only people that gossip about you are your neighbors?
I
like,
mean, before social media. Like,
yeah.
I'm so happy I grew up in a time where that wasn't a thing. Like, I think Facebook came out my senior year of college. So I did not grow up with that. Phones were not really like I shared a phone with my brother because we had a car and it was like my mom, you had to pay per call. There wasn't text yet. So it's like it was an emergency thing, like if you had a phone. And I'm so grateful because I was one of the last generations to really grow up without a screen like that. We
Hmm.
didn't have we had cable, but we didn't have the million channels. There was comparison with, oh, like, I remember really, like, wanting, like, I was jealous of people's houses because my house wasn't as big, y
Yeah.
but that was the extent of it, and it was like, that was kind of out of my control, I'm a kid.
Right, right. You like don't understand. I mean, listen, like,
Right.
it's totally on a different level. Like, and this is probably like a conversation for another time, but like it's so funny that you said that about childhood because my childhood was similar to that. Like I'm only,
Mhm.
a few years younger than you and it's very similar. Like I got Facebook when I got into college. Like that was like you
Right.
couldn't get it until you were
Right.
in college. And like same thing. Like I had like a Nextel when like one of those like walkie-talkie phones, like that was the phone I had because my dad had one, so we could like bleep each other, right?
Right.
And like my friends all had those. But like thinking of that, like growing up in that, and then the other day I'm getting Aria dressed and she looks at her crib and she points to the wall and she goes, I think that that's where I need a TV. And I'm like, she goes, yeah, can you and Dada buy me TV and put it right there, like mounted on her wall? And I'm like, come again
No.
for a big fudge? Like, what do you mean? Like, excuse me. I'm like, why do you think you should? She like thinks that she should be getting a TV at 2.5 years old. Like,
Because she's not really 2.5 years old. This
I
girl's, like,
know.
50.
I know. She probably like wants to watch like the History Channel and like Golden Girls
She
or
wants
something.
to
Like, I don't
watch
even
her,
know.
like, her,
Her
soap
civilization.
operas.
Yeah, she wants to watch like she wants to watch like ancient civilizations.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I never watched any of those shows or any
No.
alien stuff until I was pregnant with her, so that's just neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Um,
She's
but
special.
it's the technology of this age, and it just
Yeah.
makes so much of that comparison and just so much of our habits. Like people first thing in the morning, they look at their phone. Going to bed, they look at their phone. Like, people talk about that all the time, and we're all so guilty of it. And I know this is what wasn't where we were planning to go with
Yeah.
this today, but I mean, it's just like, I don't know, it's just everybody is so scattered right now. And I think that like the message that I'm getting is like clarity and focus. Like you cannot do 1,000 things at once. You kind of have
Right.
to like take it step by step.
Right. Well, I think where it weaves in is, like, so much is coming in, but we're also so overstimulated, right?
Yeah.
And it weaves in because I think, we are thinking about what we want. So much is coming in, but we're trying to do too many things at once.
Hmm.
But the piece where we're constantly comparing ourselves because we're online, we're watching TV all the
Hmm.
time, feeds into it because it can't give us clarity on what we want and understanding why we
Right.
want that. So if you can take a step back and be like, what is it that I want? Why do I want these things? Am I comparing to other people? Why am I comparing to other people? Where is that coming in so that I can get really focused? I can calm my nervous system so I can actually try and break down and achieve some of these things and see how it feels and where I want to go from there.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean it's an excellent point. And if you are feeling that way, a good place to start I think is writing a list, like writing
Yes.
things down, like just try to figure out what it is. What are you looking at? What are you desiring? And then trying to go a layer deeper, layer deeper, layer deeper. There's some meditations. There are activations on My Frequency RX that could help you like work through that. There's some journaling questions on there. Or, go see Beth and you can help people work through it. Like, we have tools and
Hmm.
resources that we can provide to you. So, if you need that support and help, reach out
Hmm.
and we're happy to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to shake things up a little bit here. So we're going to be putting stuff on our social media. So check it out there to see new
Hmm.
opportunities to be more involved in this podcast. And we want to just do something different to kind of showcase what we do because we feel like that's a piece that's missing on here. And, I think our gifts and how we can help people will be really cool to see in real time. So
Yeah.
we're
We're
going to try
breaking the
and,
habit of being ourselves.
yes, exactly. So, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next episode and see you then.
Bye.
Bye.